Okay, now
We've got our mate Baphomet here again.
Baphomet. Right. So what we're getting at here is that these when seven become one is the phrase. When the 7 planets become one, i.e., like with the what's it called? Jolly Roger, which is the skull and crossbones, which represents the ecliptic. The ecliptic represents those 7 planets. Those 7 planets really representing fate, like your horoscope, and you can get beyond them. You can go beyond them. How do you get beyond them? Well, it's the same meditative form. And you'll see from alchemy to Baphomet to Jesus himself, he was a bit long-haired, looking quite beautiful, as we've said previously. There's all these sacred androgynes. What does it mean? Well, it's the best way of explaining it is the alchemical marriage. And that is the masculine, the sun, the feminine, the moon. These are essentially conscious and unconscious, positive, negative, the 2 poles of existence. And what happens in a marriage? Well, you could say there's sex, and you have that obliteration moment at orgasm, but also, sex and death, but also marriage and death, because the old you has to die in order to get married. You become a different unit. You become something else.
Yeah.
You've got to give up so many things. I mean, just having a child, you give up your old life. That's it, gone.
This, you said do you want some more of this?
I'd love some more of that. I'll just take the book.
You just mentioned the chemical marriage, and that instantly sparks in my head the Chemical Wedding by Christian Rosenkrantz.
That was literally what was going through my head when I said it.
Right. Rosicrucians?
Heard of them?
Yeah, well, we heard about them last week, I think, didn't we? Very briefly.
Did we?
Yes.
We've talked about the Rose Cross very briefly, I think on the last one of these as well.
The Rosy Cross, yeah.
So what it is you, not so much, I think a lot of people think it's just this combination of, like in a shamanic experience or in a lucid dream or in a lot of these mystical states, it's your conscious mind is able to enter into the unconscious and swim around in it as in a dream, but with more control. However, that's part of it, but it's not. It's this obliteration. It's that marriage is a death, and actually you're going above thought. You know, you'll see in lots of Eastern traditions particularly, they'll say like, you know, you must observe your thoughts, be mindful, watch how your thoughts come, see how you don't have to be attached to them, and then they'll just go again. And, you know, I've practiced it myself. After a while, it does start to happen. When you go into sleep at night, that monkey mind stops shattering. And and then not long after that, when you're going into these states of meditation, it is literally like you sit above your own thinking. Just like when you get angry or something like that, and you go, no, I don't want to be angry. It's not a good time to be angry. I've got to keep this under control. And you can think your way above an emotion.
Right, through introspection.
Yeah, well, you just...
Stop him.
Yeah, and you can kind of sit... After a while of practicing that, you can kind of sit above it, can't you? You kind of go, I'm bubbling under here. I want to knock you out, but I'm not going to. Yeah. I'm just going to turn around and walk away, and I'm actually cool about that. It doesn't really matter. You've poked me, but I'm cool.
But it requires training and constant vigilance.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, it's the same. This is the same. I'm getting glimpses of it. I'm not very good at it, but I'm definitely like more... You kind of become less thoughtful in a strange way. You're not getting caught up in your thoughts. That's what it is. They're just this thing kind of swimming down there, and you're more observing. You're very observant, is it goes.
Mindful is the way I've heard it put. Like
yeah.
You're aware of your thoughts. You're sort of going up one step.
Yeah.
And you're being mindful of your
thoughts, yeah.
What's coming in and what's coming out and what your motivations are.
You're associating with that watcher thing that I'm on about. The observer, the witness is one of the best ways to put it.
Can I get a witness?
Yes, you can. So, all these gods in front of us are mixing the male and the female together. In the top left, we've got Owanis, the fish guy. So the fish is female from the waters, and he's in the air, he's on the land. It's, you know, he's mixing the masculine and feminine. Quetzalcoatl was a flying serpent.
Plume serpent, yeah. He's got his bloody man bag as well.
Yeah, with his man bag there. Then we've got Saturn there with his pail of water, the handbag, and the wheel there, and he's stood on a fish. We discussed previously fishes come from the depths and the things of the unconscious. So he's stood on... Many people will be stood on a dragon, but he stood on that.
He's wearing a dress.
He's mixing it up. Well, it probably
Sacred
is.
Androgyne.
Yeah. Is next to that we've got Hermes. That's Hermes Trismegistus, more famous from alchemy, and he is the mix of male and female. Bottom left we've got the Hanged Man from the tarot. He's doing the same thing. He's very pretty when you look at it, and he's doing the same thing. He's sacrificing himself and going to this other state of mind. You know, the body, the daytime's gone, and you're doing this thing, which is getting into the higher mind. Is essentially what it is. That's the easiest way to put it. If we look at Baphomet, because I know you like Baphomet, so let's just do a quick.
I like his
Got boobs.
Yes, because he's a sacred androgyne. Yeah. So
even like one arm is more muscular than the other.
So he's doing the as above, so below pose, and he's also doing the sign of esoterica with it. That basically is saying two things. The universe is fractal. Look that up if you don't know what that means. But the universe is fractal, and the upper half of the body is similar to the lower half of the body. What do I mean by that?
No, I don't get it.
Right. So, his penis there, what looks like a hard-on,
It's the caduceus.
is the caduceus. Is the penis, and is also his spine, because a lot of this stuff is basically you frustrate yourself, you get all your juices flowing, and you don't come to climax, and then you can stash these energies in that area. In Chinese alchemy, that's called the lower dantian or lower cauldron. In tarot, it's called the chariot. It's called the hara in Japan. Harakiri is when you cut. The kiri means to cut. The hara.
Harakiri.
And that's where the chi masters store all their energy in that area, which is symbolized by the fact they've got fish scales in the back, and it's cut off as well. Then you've got this sacred androgyne thing. Now he's got an ass's head. It's not a goat's head. He's got goat's horns, but that's an ass's head. An ass can't reproduce.
Of course not.
So we're getting at abstinence, but also we're getting at, if he's not the high Baphomet, if he's lower Baphomet, which is symbolized by his goat's legs there, which are your animal passions, as is the ass's head. It's stubborn, an ass. It won't stop fucking. But it's not getting anywhere
Not
with
gonna
it.
have kids.
It's not going to do anything about it. So this is to do with this asceticism and the not orgasming, basically frustrating yourself, but not orgasming. Tantra. The horns are similar. The horns are actually, as with Moses, the horns are a symbol of adulthood. So just as you go through puberty once, many people don't flower beyond that. You know, most people actually stay as children, really.
Peter Pan.
Yeah. And he needs to grow up. Well, you know, that's all about Saturn, Peter Pan, isn't it? Because the adults are the grown-ups, and there's a shop full of clocks. There's a devouring crocodile that's got time in it. It's like...
Crocodile being the serpent.
Yeah, the serpent, yeah. The devouring serpent that'll eat you up. And it's want and need, and I'll come and get you. Yeah, anyway, so Peter Pan. The horns are kind of a second growth. Moses had them as well. Have you got your horns? It's, you know, I'm horny. It's like you got this energy in you, and you can either splurge it everywhere, spaff it up the wall, or you can put it into good use. You know what I mean? You can go and write a book with it, or go and, you know.
You can channel it.
You can channel it into
more
things,
useful.
So it's this creative energy.
Yeah.
Then the torch on his head is that it's called the secret fire. So the torch on his head is like pineal a light. That's the secret fire. This sexual force. Look, you know when you get randy, it's like a bloody fire. You know what I mean? Under your ass, making you do stupid things sometimes. The wings are dark wings, so it's like it's. If it was a bird, it would be like a thought, a sacred thought, because the birds of the air, air is in the intellect. But it's night, but it's like dark wings. It's almost like a bat's wings, really. So that would be like an occulted, dark, hidden thought, if you get me.
What about the writing on his arms?
Solve et coagula. So solve means to dissolve, and coagula means to recoagulate. It's an alchemical axiom. meaning to dissolve and bring back together, to die and come back and clean yourself. Which brings us to the Aquarius thing. You know, Aquarius is the cleaning guy. It's all about that winter period, really.
And this was drawn. Eliphas Levi drew this, didn't he? This Baphomet image.
Yeah.
I read his book last year, like his famous book.
Yeah.
That this image is on the cover of, and you know, most of it just went way over my head. But I mean, to just come up with an image and everything that's encoded in that is. This guy's working on another level. You know, we haven't even talked about the moons.
Well, it's they're kind of like the black sun, as I was talking about. It's just I could talk about that
It's
for
polarity
ages, but it's
again,
the polarity,
isn't it?
but it's a black sun, just like his wings are talking about the night. It's internal. It's the unconscious rather than the conscious. Just as the earth under his feet, that orb is actually the prima materia, the prime material, which is the unconscious, as is that cube's kind of getting at the unconscious as well. But it's Saturn's cube. Saturn's very linked to cubes, from the Kaaba to all over the shop, and that's basically time and space, the four walls of time and space, the directions up, down, left, right.
The Kaaba.
The Kaaba, you know, in the Mecca.
You say Muslims are Satan worshippers.
They were that's got a black meteorite in it, put into a silver vagina, and the root of, we call it Saturn, but these things are polarized, so it's not very masculine and it's not very feminine. Really, it's the sacred mother. That's what it is.
Yes.
When you pull it all back, you know, they say lift the veil of Isis. Well, before I lifted the veil, I saw Isis as being the devil, and then it was the devil's veil I pulled up, and I goes, oh shit, that's the great mother. Right, because the devil's materialism.
Yep.
The devils are falling to materialism.
I'll make you king of this realm.
Yeah. But then when you look to that, it's like, oh, that's the great mother. That's the thing that allows energy to fall into matter in the first place. It's the big conceiver, the big matrix.
Check out the Kaaba in Mecca. It's crazy, like this black structure that
everyone
rotate around, yeah,
like the pole star.
Well,
it is. That is what it is.
Not Satan worship. Obviously,
he's not always covered over or something.
Sorry, say again.
You can go in it, can't you?
I thought when I've seen images of people walking around it when they do the
pilgrimage,
that it's covered over. But maybe I'm misremembering.
In the black cloth, Saturnian black cloth. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
But I think it is white underneath or something,
but you can normally see it or something.
No, it's always got that black cloth on it.
You can go in. Some people can go in it, I believe, and there is photos from inside.
Yeah, I've seen inside. It looks quite plain, as I remember.
It is, yeah. Something's been lost in translation, I would suggest.
Yes.
Between this era in 2000 BC, 3000, 4000 BC to 650 AD or later. Anyway, should we skip?
Yes, we should. Yes.